All right, we've got a dangerous yet exciting road ahead for Bitcoin. I want to talk a little bit about that today. Guys, we take, at the moment, about 1,400, almost exactly 1,400 families and individuals through the crypto market. And today's analysis comes down to this. We're going to teach you guys why the 4-year cycles may be ending. So those of you guys who've been in the market for a while, you know about the 4-year cycles. You know that 2013, 17, and 25 are expected to be bullish years. But there's evidence now that we're breaking this because we shoved so much money into the ETFs. The ETFs are now operating on the stock market, and we may not get an alt season as we expect. Because for an alt season to happen, Bitcoin dominance has to move back down. But who's going to sell all their Bitcoin when all the Bitcoins are in the ETFs? Okay, so we got to talk about this today. Let's talk about this because I'll share with that in the future forecast. There's a link in the description. I'll go over that, why this is incredibly bullish for Bitcoin, why it could also spell a lot of trouble for alt season coming up here, how I'm reorganizing my portfolio, the buy limits that I've got set up, why I still believe altcoins from where we're at could crash 35 to 50%. I know you're like, I'm signing off right now. Look at the data yourselves, guys. If Trump gets what he wants to refinance the $7 trillion and he has a stock market crash to pump bonds to lower the 10-year yield so we can refinance $7 trillion at a lower rate, I think he's going to let the stock market crash, okay? What's the formation that we're forming, guys? Let's just do a little technical analysis here. For Bitcoin, you're in a bear flag. There's no doubt about this. Anybody who's doing technical analysis for any amount of time can see that we're in a bear flag that has broken to the downside. If you take the strongest support lines, you can see here, we can also run it up the line here, right about there, where we have a touch here, we've got a touch there, and another touch. We've broken down on the bear flag. The bear flag target here is now $77,000, but that's if you're not looking at everything else to the left. This is the ascending support line that's held true on Bitcoin. Let me make this bigger for us. This is the ascending support line that's held true basically on April 12th all the way to the high about November 10th, 2021. What we need to be looking at now is actually a zone where Bitcoin could come back down to, which is pretty easily, you can see here, is about $74,000. And if we look at the bottom of this zone, we could be seeing price head down all the way to about, let's take the tops of these wicks here, we could see it down to about $72,089. So are you guys prepared for that? Here's what I want to share with you guys. Do you guys know that if you've been in this market, that Bitcoin usually, if it sees about a 2% loss, altcoins usually see about a 6 to let's say 8% loss. It's around a 2 to 3x multiple. So let me just play this out for you guys, and I'll bring this full circle. If Bitcoin just comes back down to its support, which is just a break of a bear flag, which is not uncommon at all, and we got rejection from the 200-day moving average, if we move down, strangely enough, 666, if we move down 6.66%, let's just get that out of the way with. Let's just do something more happy. All right, let's do 6.80%. All right, if we do 6.80%, I'm joking, guys. I don't care about that number at all in cryptocurrency. You just trade it. Okay. What we need to do is we need to factor in, take this times 2. Your altcoins are going to suffer at about 13.6%, upwards of about 18.24%. So are you okay with hitting just a very minimal support level of altcoins potentially bleeding another 18 to 20%? Because it gets worse from there. If we just come back down to support, we're looking at about a 9 all the way down to about a 12%. 12 times 2 is 24. Add more onto 24, you're looking at about 36%. So when I come out here and I say there's a possibility of a 30 to 35% crash in altcoins, it's because it matches up with the strong data of where the next support level is in the market. And then what people are probably not looking at is they're not looking at this support line right here, which if this support line is hit, that brings us all the way down to about $63,000, potentially $60,000. All right, are you guys following me here? The math on this says this. If Bitcoin moves down in a fairly straight line, that's 22%. Let's make this simple, 20%. Altcoins, 40 to 60% drops from where they're currently at. You're like, well, hold up. I'm already down 35 to 50% in my altcoin portfolio right now. Okay, if you're there or if you're up and you're like, I don't want to experience this drop, because listen guys, if Trump gets his way, the stock market's going lower because there's no way he's going to refinance $7 trillion at the 10-year yield right now. It's way too high. And if he can orchestrate a drop or wait for the stock market to drop to then have lower interest payments while Doge is running, like, do you think he's probably going to take the beneficial route by making a healthier economy when Doge is upheavaling trillions of dollars? I think he's probably going to let the stock market crash. All right, if this happens, this now goes into what we talk about with all of our family members over here of how do we set this up. Last future forecast on, actually this was on March 13th, I ended up giving you guys the exact indicator we're using to dollar cost average into the market. We've had 2 buy limits hit already. We're about to get another one hit today. All right. I then give you guys my spreadsheet of all the buy limits to be set up in this market. Here's the reason why, is that if we see a move back down, you need to figure out risk management. Even if you're down 45% right now, do you want to watch another 40 to 60% leave from altcoins? Because if Bitcoin goes down here, let's say conservative, we only do a 2x, 40% of your portfolio is going to be gone based off where it's at currently. What I did is I took $200,000 out. Actually, I took $300,000 out of the $1 million I had in the market, and $200,000 of those, they're set up in specific buy limits that are matched up perfectly to supports in the market and Fibonacci retracements. So that's what I want to show you guys. And then we're going to talk about today what is happening, because there's evidence that states now that the stock market is not going to, the cryptocurrency market is no longer going to go with 4-year cycles. There's like some crazy evidence I can show you guys this morning, literally forming the exact same formations of what we call the S&P 500 seasonality chart. And I've seen nobody on YouTube show this chart before. When you look at this, you then need to understand that it is possible that Bitcoin is going to be synced up with the S&P 500. And because majority of money is in ETFs, where's the Bitcoin dominance? Who's going to sell their Bitcoin to give us an alt season? Okay? But then if we pair up the stock market cycles with what stocks do, because it's the top 500 companies in the S&P 500, if we understand how stocks individually move within the S&P 500, you can also correlate this to specific cryptocurrencies that have been showing some signs lately they may be moving independent from other cryptocurrencies. What currencies are those? I'm going to share that with you guys and give you guys evidence of that as well, because I've structured my portfolio around what are called utility coins, because utility coins, especially ISO, are going to be live July 14th. It was March 10th, now it's July 14th. When those go live, you are going to see, I guarantee you're going to see those fart coin, smoking chicken fish coins. They're not going to have the rotation of money move into those anymore. We are going to start seeing utility take over, and especially if we're going to start breaking the 4-year cycles, which I'll show you evidence of, and we're starting to go on the stock market cycle, you need to see where the peak is expected to be. Because there is a date that I'll show you guys this morning where we matched up the 4-year cycles of the bullish markets, the 11-year cycles of cryptocurrency, as well as the stock market. There is a date window in a specific month where I'm looking to take all 80 to 90% of all my cryptocurrency. It's actually before October. We're going to look to take all of that out because a massive drop is expected in the stock market, as well as the 4-year cycle and the 11-year average price for Bitcoin. It is pretty substantial that you guys watch this future forecast this morning, okay? Because there's no way I can do it here. It's an hour-long video, and it's just chart after chart after chart after chart after risk management plan for you guys, and I whiteboard a bunch. So if you guys, I'll end this here. If you're looking for a strategy to actually hedge this potential drop coming with buy limits, I'll give those to you. But then I also want to show you evidence of why Bitcoin could be syncing up with the stock market, what that means for Bitcoin going forward, the good and the really ugly, okay? And then how do you take all this information and readjust your portfolio? That is everything I'm going to give you guys today. I'm not a financial advisor, but this is exactly what I'm doing with my portfolio, and we are doing fairly well. Our portfolio is currently at, let me see here, we're at about 1.2 million. Not sure why it says 52% because our cost basis is $1 million, so I'll look and see what's going on there. But we are at $1.2 million in our account, and so we're up about $250,000 at the moment. All right, guys, I love you. Watch that future forecast. Do not miss what I'm going to share there because I think it's going to really help you guys reallocate in what is potentially to come here pretty soon as we're breaking back down. I do think we have lower to go. All right, guys, here's a pop-up at the end of the video. Everything's linked in the description. Enjoy 25% off our membership, and I'll see you guys in the future forecast. Bye, guys.